Hello and welcome to your practice for today. This 30-minute movement practice will be focused on twisting. Twisting our body is a really great way to internally massage our inner organs, especially our digestion, but also to compress and extend is to increase blood flow. And this can be really healing in resetting how we feel. So if you're ready to join me, come onto your mat and go ahead and lie down. Now we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So as you lie back flat, neutral spine, bring your knees into your chest. Take a deep breath in. Place your feet flat on the floor and find the edges of your mat and let your knees fall into each other. Let the heads of your arm bones, your shoulders fall back and your palms fall open for a moment. Feel free to wiggle a little in your body just to settle. Then bend at your elbows and let your hands rest onto your abdomen or towards your heart center, somewhere at the base of your rib cage. Take a moment here to simply acknowledge the time, the energy, and the movements you've taken to get here to your mat. Then acknowledge the movements of the yoga practice you're about to take and the history and wisdom of the practice that will be revealed to you. Acknowledge perhaps also the land and the unceded territory you may be practicing from and those who walked here before us. Take a deep breath in and a great sigh. Open up your arms to the left and to the right. And let your knees open up and then sway them one side and then the other. As your knees move from left to right and right to left, you're feeling and you're providing feedback from your body to your brain. And then your brain back to your body of how far it wants to go, or perhaps it's ready to go a little further. Feel free to adjust the turn of the head to the left when the knees go right, turn of the head to the right when the knees go left. Just taking a simple twist here of unwinding. This is one I like to do at many points throughout the day when I'm feeling just a little overwhelmed and need a reset. Take a deep breath. And out. Come back to center and bring your knees into your chest. Tuck behind the knees or behind the legs below the knees and rock yourself a little front to back. So from hips to shoulders and shoulders to hips. Come all the way up to a tall seat. Now we want to have a check-in for our twists and the amount of rotation that we might have access to. So first and foremost, reach up as you breathe in. Turn to your right as you breathe out. Left hand to your knee, right hand behind you, breath in. Look over your shoulder, breath out. Now find something on the wall or the floor behind you. It might be the corner of your mat, might be a little further that you can see. And that's your check-in point. So at the end of practice today, we're going to come back to this rotation and see if we haven't encouraged the ribs a little more open and a little more space into our mid-body and our mid-back. Unwind to center. Take a breath. Sigh. Sweep up, breath in. Rotate to the left, breath out. Right hand to knee, left hand falls down behind you. Look over your shoulder. Now you might notice you can look further on one side than the other. Just acknowledge what that is. Notice if the head is tilting or twisting out of alignment. So a really key rule of thumb is that a rounded spine should never twist. So if we're in a seat and we're here, we shouldn't be rotating from here. We want to get length first and then create rotation. We might not go as far, but over time we'll get a lot further with more freedom. Unwind back to center. Take another breath. A big sigh. And then come over onto your all fours, your tabletop position. And as you anchor into your palms and into your knees, so you're in a true table, not too far ahead, not too far underneath, but find that place, that magical place in the middle. And we'll take a little cat-cow here, realigning to center. So we want to feel center is. Take about 3 articulations. As you come back through center, I want you to pull your knees back or your hips back over your knees and reach for the sky as you inhale. Bring your hands together as you exhale. If this is hard on your knees, add a little cushion here. Shift some weight onto your left foot and bring your right foot around in front for a simple lunge. Now, one in the lunge is we're opening up the front of the hip. Now, as we create rotation, we're also going to open up the opposite side and into the rib cage. So take your right hand to your knee, left hand to the floor, or lift the floor up to meet you with a block. Take a full breath in, pull forward. Remember, long spine. Exhale, rotate to twist. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Right arm to the sky. And now we'll add in a little bit of a turn, arm ahead of the knee and ahead of the arm. So it's not a threading of the needle. We want to keep the spine nice and long here and just go open and close. And then roll open. You might even push into that right heel a little and then pull your hips closed and forward as you roll through. One more. Good. Come back up to center. Press back up into a full lunge position. Take your left arm to the sky and push off your front foot. And then you'll take your left hand outside of your right knee and slide your right thumb into your hip and rotate in that direction. You can place your hand palm onto your sacrum. Your eyes can be forward or just in line with the center of your chest, and then gradually bend into your front knee. Now, it is important that your back knee is safe, so have a cushion underneath it, fold your mat over where you need, and this hand might slide to forearm if you get a little bit deeper, and then you can turn your palm open, touch your thumb and your forefinger together. Deep breath. And if you need to come off that back knee, just tuck your toes a little, reset so you're on the front of the femur, not on your kneecap or on any compression if you've had any injury to that knee. Now reach your arm back behind you, straight back, thumb to the sky. Full breath in. Full breath out. Full breath in. Think like someone's shaking your back hand, your right hand, and pulling you back a little bit further. And now release your front hand and then cartwheel the hands up and over. Frame your front foot and come into a plank. Knees up or down. Take a breath in. Lower forward and down. Breath out. Flip the feet to point. Slide your hands off the edges of your mat. Maybe to fingertips, like you're suctioning the floor. Forehead kisses the mat. Roll your shoulders back. Engage your legs. Lift into King Cobra. Forward and down. Release. Do that again. Straight up, rolling through the inhale. Tuck the chin slightly. Exhale, release. One more. And then hands under the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Pull the hips straight back. And then bring the hands back to the knees. Sweep up. Inhale. Hands through heart center. Exhale. Now on this side, shift the weight to your right foot. Bring your left foot around. You might have to inchworm it a little forward. And then from here, left hand to knee, right hand to the mat or to that block if it's lifting up to greet you. Back toes can be tucked or pointed, but either way, there's pressure down through that foot. Take a breath in to get long, and then rotate on the exhalation. Take another breath, and then reach straight up to the sky. Now ahead of the knee and ahead of the arm, coming through a rotation. We want to massage the spine to open up, the ribs to open up. Come through on your exhale. Inhale, roll open. Exhale, come through. We'll do that one more time. You'll bring your left hand back onto your knee. Press up into a straight lunge. Right arm can go to the sky. Exhale your right hand across to the outside of your knee, and your left hand can pull back in your hip. So you're not rotating through the hip joint or letting your knee fall in. Knee and hand press into each other to start. Creates a really stable base for your upper body to create rotation. Now, while you're here, you're steadily moving the hips forward, and you may end up with the forearm inside the leg, or you can bend the elbow and pull it back, but I find that pushing from the elbow helps to rotate that shoulder around. Turn the palm open, thumb and first finger can meet. Deep breath. For 3. Look over the shoulder for 2. And then reach your arms straight back behind you. Push off your front heel a little bit and open up further towards the wall behind you. Now you'll release your right hand inside the foot, cartwheel the left hand around, come into that plank position. Knees up or down, lower chaturanga, right to your belly. Kiss the ground with the forehead, hands just off the edges of the mat, fingertips, roll the shoulders back, engage the legs straight up, breath in. Forward and down, breath out. Straight up, breath in. Forward and down, breath out. One more. And release. Tuck the toes, press up and back, that puppy dog stance. Then downward dog, lifting the hips to the sky. Deep breath in, full breath out. Now step to the top of your mat, big toes to touch, lift halfway. Forward fold, catch your calves, pull inward. Then press to rise, go all the way up. And hands through heart center. Now we'll sit back and down into Utkatasana chair position. Reach for the floor, sweep the ground so you're getting nice and compressed, and then bring your hands together into your heart and open up your elbows to the sides. Now at this twist, we'll take an inhale, left elbow outside of right knee, exhale everything. Look at your toes, make sure your knees haven't changed. So if the left knee drove forward, pull it back, and then lift your heart above your hips and draw your hips back into your heels. You can look to your fingertips or over your shoulder or even down to the floor for 3. Think of the rinsing quality in your low belly, navel to spine, 2. And then on your next inhalation, untwist and bow forward fully. Halfway lift. Open your feet to about hip distance. That's measuring 2 fists between. And then make peace fingers with your hands and slide those fingers between your big toe and your second toe. Drop your hips, lift your heart, breath in. Lift your hips up and bow forward, breath out. And this steady forward compression again to the front body, but also elongating your spine. Give your head a gentle yes nod and a no shake, helping to rinse any congestion from the neck. Actively pull on your toes and actively press your toes down into your fingers. It sounds like it would hurt, but it really doesn't. Now straightening out the arms, drop the hips, lift the heart halfway up. Exhale, release, toe heel the feet together. Sit the hips down, sweep the arms up. Utkatasana, hands to heart center. Breath in. Other side, right elbow, left knee. Now the tendency will be this right knee is going to drive forward, so pull it back. Take a moment to align your feet and push your heels away from center. Now, if you're rounding here, I want you to think about lifting your chest up. You can even bring your fingertips together or press a fist into your palm so your heart is above your hips. Keep breathing. 3. Get long from your hips back and your heart forward all the way up through your crown. 2. On your next breath, you'll exhale to come through center and bow forward. Open up your feet again. Now this time you can do the same, repeat, hold the big toes, or you'll lift up your foot one at a time and you'll stand onto the palms of your hands. So your backs of your hands are on the floor, the toes massage the wrist creases. You might not have as much reach here in your fold, but you'll lift your hips to the sky, let your heart melt, and forward fold, elbows wide into this gorilla forward fold. For 3, breathe. Actively pull your shoulders away from your ears. So the more length we get in the spine, the more rotation we get from it. So each one of these in between is helping to reset, but also elongate. On your next breath, one at a time, the hands come out from underneath. Walk the feet together, lift halfway, bow forward. Now press to rise, go all the way up. Bring your hands through heart center. And then your arms by your sides. Sweep up, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift. Step your left foot back into a long lunge. Reach up to the sky. Knee can be up or down here, your choice. Gather your hands again at your heart. And then inhale forward, exhale, rotate again to the right, elbow on top and then outside of your knee. So if you put the knee down here, no problem at all. Sometimes it's actually nice to get a little deeper in your twist with the knee for stability. And if you want a little more fire, a little more heat, keep that knee lifted. Little sips of breath into your upper ribs and the back body. Now with every compression, we have a nice big release. So from here, open your wings, left arm down, right arm up, and then we're going to cartwheel open to warrior 2, like a ninja. Open up, deep breath. Settle in a little further. Good, now straighten your front leg. Pivot your toes of your front foot around. Take a full breath in. Hinge forward into a fold. Release the hands under your shoulders and lift up halfway. So the hands are likely just underneath your shoulders, slightly off the edge of your mat. Now from here, you'll keep your left hand down. We're going to twist the same way. I want you to pick up your ribs at center. When you pick them up, pick up in center, don't round them. So just don't let them fall heavy to the ground, pull them in, and then rotate open, right arm to the sky. Breathe here. For 3, weight back in your heels, light on your fingertips. 2, don't let the arm just hang up there. Reach out of your waist and then reach over your ear and bring the hand back down to the floor. Halfway lift, breath in, forward fold, breath out. Now walk your hands over to your right foot, lift up halfway in that direction, but keep your feet in this parallel position. We're just getting a little bit of compression on the right side. Lift your ribs in that direction again, and then fold down the right leg. Slide your right hand to your calf or down the back of your leg. Left hand's really here just to stabilize. There's no weight in it. If you want, you can hook the back of the left heel. Give a little tug, a little help pulling in that direction. Then lift up halfway, and now pivot your right toes Pivot your left heel and come into that lunge again. Now back in this lunge, we'll sweep up, inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale. If the knee is down, you're starting to press to lift back up. Inhale, reach. Hands to the mat, exhale, pop your left leg to the sky, and then lower it slowly to the mat. Halfway lift, breath in. Forward fold, breath out. Press to rise, go all the way up. And hands to heart center. Let's repeat on the other side. Sweep up, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift. Step the right foot back. Find your lunge. So again, knee can come down or knee stays lifted. Wherever you feel balanced, hands to heart center, exhale. Then press off, send the heart forward, inhale. Empty. And take your elbow to the top of the knee or outside. Now, if your knee is lifted, but it's sort of bent, then put it down and reset. And then work that leg nice and straight. So you're building that tapas, that heat, that fire in your body to rinse out. Rinsing the inside out, like you're taking a towel, a wet towel, and you want to rinse the water from it. Squeeze. Little sips of breath. Getting a little further, a little deeper in. When you feel the freedom here to open up your wings, if your knee is on the floor, that's okay. You'll take your time, you can place your hands down to lift it back up, and then cartwheel open to warrior two. Deep breath. Settle in. Another breath. Settle in. Then straighten the front leg, pivot the toes, take a breath, and forward fold. And as you forward fold, the hands then come down underneath your shoulders. Maybe just off the edge of your mat. So I've spun myself around on the mat, but you might be reaching just off the edge. Now this time your right hand is down and your left hand comes to your ribs. Remind them to stay connected, but not round. So find somewhere in the middle. It might mean bending your knees a little more, and then rotate open and reach. Full breath. Spread the toes, but try to weight the heels and get lighter on your fingertips, but without rounding your back. So think hips back, chest up, nice and long in your center. Building that heat, that tapas energy. Bring that left hand down. Bow forward, exhale. Now lift halfway, walk your hands over to your left foot. Right hand can be in front, left hand catches the back of the leg, and just fold in this direction. Deep breath. Hand can clasp the outside of the ankle, your right hand that is. And then gradually lift up halfway and pivot your toes so you're coming back into the lunge on this left side. Now your back knee can already be lifted, or you can do the work from the bottom. Reach for the sky, go straight up. Bring your hands to heart center. Sweep up wide, fingertips to the floor. Pop the right leg up and then lower it down. Big toes to touch, lift halfway and forward fold. Press to rise, come all the way up and hands through heart center. Now from center, it's steady. Hug the inner thighs, the knees towards center. And you're shifting your weight onto your right foot and floating your right knee to hip height. Wake up your right foot and take your left hand outside your right knee. Push them together and then scoop that right arm around behind you. So the rotation might feel a little less steady in your lower body. So work your knee to your hand to your knee, and hug your shoulders down your back. If you lose your balance, come right back in. Steady the gaze forward for stability. Gradually turning the eyes to a point on the wall to your side, or looking all the way back to your right thumb. Come all the way up and around. Now catch the knee with your right hand, pull it in and up. Take your left arm just straight out to the side, and then open your knee to the right, Utthita Hasta Padangustasana. So as the knee opens, both arms can open as well. And you'll close the door hinge and bring everything back to center. Let's do the other side. Sweep up, inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale. Shift your weight onto your right leg, pillar of a leg, and then float the left knee as high as your hip. Try not to lift your hip, just your knee. Hand to outer knee. Begin to rotate open towards that left side. The more you press hand to knee, knee to hand, you might feel your shoulder creep up. So think shoulders down, rotating from the ribs. Hips are back underneath you. If they start to fall forward, come back out of the twist a little, hips underneath, and then create rotation. Deep breath. Good. From here, your hand comes up and around, catches the knee in front, hug it in, right arm wide to the side, and then open out towards the left. Release, open both arms, and then close and land back at center. Sweep up, inhale, forward fold, exhale. Lift up halfway and step back into a plank. Lower to your belly. Flip your feet into cobra. Lift into a simple cobra. Release down. Take the hands off the edges of your mat into that king cobra. And this time, as you exhale and lower, look to your right, left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. More suppleness to your spine coming up as you breathe in. Over the other side as you breathe out. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Think pinky toes pressing down. Inhale up. Exhale, other side. One more on each side. Again, a little heat is really good for the body, so allow that to build. And then all the way back to center, release straight down. Tuck the toes, up and back puppy dog. And then lift up and walk the knees forward, come into a seated position. Now we're gonna have a second check-in here with a little bit of rotation. So from your seat, reach up, inhale. Turn to your right, exhale. Take another breath, and your left hand to your right knee, exhale, looking over your right shoulder. Wow, I can see a whole lot further in that direction. Now it might be minor, but notice what you can see through the eyes as you rotate around, creating a little more spaciousness in the mid-body. Come back through center, sweep up, inhale, rotate to the left, exhale. Take another breath, hand to knee, left hand behind, and then twisting the other direction. Hopefully feeling, again, a little more length and a subtle bit of more rotation, perhaps seeing just a little further along the mat or the wall behind you. Come back through center. Take a breath. Sigh. Bring the knees together. Your left leg out in front and your right leg over. So a really classic twist here is exactly this. Foot is flat in the direction of your knee, wrapping the knee with the left arm. Left leg can stay in front Or you can lean back and tuck that left foot to your right hip, as long as you're not sitting on that heel. So you want to create some space. Squeeze in, sit tall. Start with just where the rotation begins, and then adding more as your body calls. Rotating is so great for our spine. It's really about bending and flexing the spine in lots of directions, and then opens up the passageways for energy to flow. Now I've flagged my elbow onto the knee or the top of the thigh. You can do that and touch your thumb and forefinger. You can also bring your right hand around and see if you can catch the back of or the front of your left hip with the back of your hand. Lots of variations to move towards, but it might not be there for you today. And if you try that and it's too much, just back off. Come back through center. Take a breath. Big sigh, counter rotate. Good, and then switch out your legs. Right leg out, left leg over, staying here. So feel free to stay exactly as you are in the twist, or tuck that right foot next to your hip. Notice I had to lean over to get the hip. Give the foot some space, but I'm not sitting on that heel. Hug in, looking in a neutral direction, and then gradually rotating from your rib cage, moving some of the flesh out of the front of the abdomen, maybe flag the elbow. And remember, we're not rounding and rotating. We're nice and tall first, and then twist. Right hand can touch thumb and forefinger, and then optional left hand around behind. Looking over the shoulder, deep breaths. These final rinses for that lower digestive tract, really squeezing, cleansing, deep breath. Come back through center, pause at center, breath in. Settle open to the right, breath out. Untwist and lie down. So take a moment here in this neutral position, letting your body settle. A minute or two. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. If there's any movement that still calls you, you're always welcome to take it. But notice if it's just to prevent a long Shavasana. Shavasana is actually most people's favorite pose, but for a small percentage, it's really challenging to stay here, and that's okay. You might stay with your eyes open. You might work on just slowly blinking the eyes closed. So as your nervous system calms and relaxes, you can settle. And in your own way, acknowledge yourself for your time. Now, as you begin to reawaken, you'll do so really gradually, checking in to see if staying here just a touch longer might serve you best. Otherwise, moving hands and feet, wrists and ankles, elbows and knees. You'll eventually roll to one side and back up to a tall seat. Bring your palms together at your heart center. If you're still reclined, just rest your hands on your chest center. Honoring and acknowledging ourselves for making it to the mat, for taking the time, for moving, for breathing, for resetting, for cleansing and rinsing. And do this practice more than once to feel its benefits. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon.